I always think that this game that we're in, this passion we have for photography, stimulates us to do things that we would never do if it weren't for that prompt of photography. And I can think back to numerous incredible experiences that I've had because of that. Can you think of some of those moments from a lifetime behind the lens that come immediately to mind?
Yes, yes, I can. I think. I mean, there are so many though, and I've not travelled internationally as much as you have. But going to places like South Georgia, and landing on a beach there where there's 100,000 penguins, king penguins, and the attendant smell, by the way. Having an experience like that you would never do if you weren't a photographer, or going to Ladakh and walking for 12 days across passes up to 5,500 meters above sea level, meeting the locals there where they are so remote and their contact with other human beings is so limited. I know you've had similar experiences, I guess, in South America.
Absolutely, some fantastic experiences in Peru and Bolivia. In fact, next week I'll be in Argentina. So South America constantly pulls, and I think that draw of adventure, fuels my photography. I think it's working your own backyard on your own patch is very satisfying, is very rewarding, and I love photographing my own area. But at the same time, I need to mix that up with
the contrast
adventure
is important
travel.
too, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that I always think that the balance is a fundamental in composition, isn't it? But it's also a fundamental in life, and for the creative soul to be both stimulated but also practiced, you need this contrast of, the new and the familiar. And it's that being able to practice on the familiar, to discover the new within the familiar, and at the same time have the stimulus of being able to travel, as widely as we do. I mean, is ideal, and it's it's a real privilege. No question about that. Yeah, I've had other experiences which have involved quite solitary ones, walking for a day in one direction in bleak winter conditions in Scotland, never seeing a soul, and you're very much kind of subjected to your own internal thought processes and, what happens if something goes wrong, because there's absolutely nobody anywhere in the vicinity. And you learn a sort of self-reliance that's quite significant in the way that it defines you as a person.
Well, there's no adventure without risk, is there? So.
That's absolutely true. And I think this is one of the, without wanting to go on a rant, the whole health and safety culture that we enjoy in this country is a bit of a mixed blessing in that sense. While it's really important that people stay safe, we all, and have that respect for human life. I think in the creative life, you have to take risks. It's really important.
But at the same time, it's not all about being a daring devil photographer, is it? It's more, I find for me, my travel photography is best when I give myself time to actually get into the rhythm of a place, spend time there. I can remember one particular session vividly, for example. Wendy and I were up in Kluhani National Park in the Yukon Territories in northwest Canada. And we were doing a night shoot, and we hiked along the edge of this lake and set the tripod up. And of course, in that part of the world, you're always aware of bears. So Wendy was singing ABBA songs, as we were shooting. But it was just such a beautiful night. And I will never, ever forget that experience of being there, just the two of us in this pristine wilderness. And without wishing to get too lyrical, those sort of experiences really do connect you with your soul. And I can thank photography for that. Wouldn't have happened without that stimulus.
Electrifying.
Yeah.